The Weaponized Conada is the newest helicopter added into Grand Theft Auto Online, and it comes with quite a hefty price tag of $3.4 million. In today's video, I'll be comparing the Conada to the Sparrow, my favorite and probably a lot of people's favorite mode of transportation and helicopters in the game. We'll be talking about their weapons, comparing the overall price tag, upgradability, and just about everything you'd need to know about the new Weaponized Conada and comparing it to the Sparrow. Let's get straight into it. Let's start off by comparing the price tags of these two aircraft. Let's begin with the Sparrow. To find the Sparrow, you're going to have to go to Warstock Cash and Carry, move over to the Kosatka, and go to Moonpool Vehicles. It'll cost about $1.8 million, but you also have to put on the weapon, so probably around $2.2 million fully upgraded. The reason I say that is because getting the Weaponized Conada does come with the weapons pre-equipped. Unfortunately, that's about the only good thing when it comes to the price tag, because it's still a whopping $3.4 million, and it has the same weapons as a Buzzard. In fact, what I've been told in the comments, a worse machine gun. So essentially, you're getting a kind of worse Buzzard when it comes to the weaponry for quite a bit more money. To upgrade the Weaponized Conada, you're going to have to bring it over to your aircraft workshop inside of your hangar. It's pretty easy to upgrade. There's really not much available. For example, we have armor, which you're obviously going to max out. We've got the engine upgrades, handling, and that's literally it. There's no weapons, there's nothing you can put on the Conada, so essentially you're just making it fly a bit faster, and you got the choice of the generic liveries that all the other weaponized aircraft have. Honestly, I'm a bit disappointed. The price tag that Rockstar's asking for a vehicle that doesn't have really any customization is a bit disappointing. Now let's talk weaponry. What does the Weaponized Conada have going for it? Well, you have two different types of weapons. You have missiles. These are your stock standard missiles, and they're the same ones you'll get on the Laser or the F-160 Raiju, the Buzzard. Kinda lame. I really expected, with the way the missile designs are on the helicopter, that you'd be able to spam the missiles just like the Savage or the Sparrow, go whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. But unfortunately, as you can see, it's the lame Buzzard missiles. The only other weapon you have is a Gatling gun, the same type that you'll find on a Buzzard, it just does a little bit less damage. Overall, the weaponry is nothing exceptional on this vehicle, and it's definitely not going to be the main reason you buy it. The main reason you're going to buy this helicopter is the mobility. I have to be real, the Weaponized Conada is the most enjoyable and fastest flying helicopter in the game. It achieves a crazy good top speed of 175 miles per hour. That is crazy fast. For example, the Sparrow is, or was, the fastest flying helicopter in the game, and it achieved a top speed of 168. Now that's fast, but the problem with the Sparrow is it always flies at a downhill gradient, which means eventually you are going to have to tilt it up a little bit, slowing it down, where the Conada, it literally just keeps going at the same 175 miles per hour for as long as you're applying the literal power. I mean, you can see here, it just keeps going and going. It is by far the fastest flying helicopter in the game. Add that into the fact that it is also incredibly maneuverable. It is definitely the most enjoyable helicopter to fly. It's actually crazy how fun it is to fly this helicopter. To upgrade the Sparrow, you're going to have to make your way inside of your Kosatka, walk over to the Moonpool vehicle area, and then enter the Sparrow. At that point, you're just going to press right on the D-pad, and you can change all of the weaponry. There's two different types of weapons. We have the mounted 50 cal minigun. I would not suggest to use this. I haven't even tried it, so let me know in the comments if it's good or not, but let's be real. Everybody should just go for the mounted homing missiles. Not only do you have homing missiles, but you also have countermeasures you can put on chaffs and flares. Flares are by far the best, and they are absolutely amazing. It's one of the major downsides that something like the Conada doesn't have is flares. These are absolutely mandatory for aircraft in 2023. The fact that you can also just spam these flares like crazy, you can see there we've launched one, and then again I can just keep spamming these. Those are going to distract all missiles fired at me. Also, add into the fact that the missiles on the Sparrow are non-stop. You can see me here just firing them over and over and over. It basically means that not only does the Sparrow have a better weapon loadout than the Conada, but it also has more survivability down down to the fact that it can fire flares, because both of these helicopters cannot survive any missiles. As I said before, the Sparrow reaches a top speed of 168 miles per hour, which is pretty fast. You can see here, instead of the Conada where it flies upwards, it flies at a slow downhill gradient. Now, to be fair, that does give you some advantages. It means that you're never going to be like 8 million miles up when flying somewhere, and you're never going to have to just dip down. But as well, it also makes it a lot easier to shoot at ground targets with your missiles, because you're always going to be somewhat tilted down rather than up. So there are some advantages for flying a little bit downhill. Overall, the Sparrow feels very similar though when it comes to maneuverability and handling. You can very easily make corners and turns with this helicopter, just like the Conada. So at that area, it's actually quite nice on handling. It's just a bit of a speed and acceleration difference. Now we arrive at ease of access. Let's say right now I want to call my Weaponized Conada out. I'm sitting right at the highway, a pretty stock standard location, so I'm going to go to Vehicles and scroll through my interaction menu until I find the Weaponized Conada. So scrolling, there it is. Now that we've called it in, we're going to have to find a mode of transportation, because unfortunately aircraft count as your personal vehicle. So we can see that it has been spawned near us, so now what we're going to have to do is go to Secure Surf CEO, go to Vehicles, and I guess we'll just call out a BJ XL. So we're gonna have to run out. I'm gonna have to get ran over is what's gonna happen. But essentially, we're gonna have to run all the way over to this BJ, or I guess this motorcycle works just as well, and then drive about half a mile down the road to go get into our Weaponized Conada. This is really unfortunate, and it's one of the major reasons why I don't really like personal aircraft. Not only can you not call in any personal vehicles while your Weaponized Conada is called out, but as well, to get over to it, it does take a bit of time, as you can see. You have to go to a suitable location where it lets you take off aircraft. Compare that to the Sparrow. All you have to do is go to Services, Kosatka, Request Vehicle, and look at that. The Sparrow spawned literally right next to me, and instantly. Plus, it doesn't count as a personal vehicle, meaning that I can still use whatever car I want and have the Sparrow out at the same time. Let's say you're really unlucky and you get stranded on Mount Chiliad. No problem, go to Services, go to Kosatka, and Sparrow. Well, look at that, my Sparrow literally spawns right next to me on the top of Mount Chiliad. I can easily get out and fly wherever the heck I want. Now let's pretend that, oh crap, I want to call in my Weaponized Conada. So let's call it in and see where it spawns. My guess is it's not gonna be very close, which, yeah, oh my god, that's literally like, you'd not just never get there. And this is a great example again of why the Sparrow is such a good helicopter. Like, yeah, all the personal aircraft in the game, if it's any helicopter, isn't going to spawn next to you. It's going to spawn all the way over there. This is why, time and time again, I always say just stick with the Sparrow. If you want a simpler Sparrow, you can do the Buzzard, which you can spawn in through your CEO tab. This is also really easy. You can just press Buzzard, and as you can see, it spawned right below me. I'm just obviously in the sky. But the Buzzard is another great helicopter that you can spawn next to you. But the Buzzard doesn't have flares, nor does it have non-stop firing missiles, which the Sparrow does. So at that point, again, the Sparrow just takes home the cake and the first place prize. So in my opinion, don't buy the Weaponized Conada, especially if you own a Sparrow, because the Sparrow flies just about as fast, it has better weaponry, it has flares, which the Conada doesn't, and you can spawn it in whenever you want right next to you. Plus, it doesn't count as a personal aircraft, meaning you can still drive one of your cars while you have the helicopter active. I don't have anything wrong with the Weaponized Conada, but the Sparrow literally beats it in almost every single way apart from that slight bit of speed disadvantage. At the end of the day, it's obviously down to personal opinion, but I just wouldn't ever buy a helicopter that's flat out worse than the Sparrow. So hopefully you enjoyed today's video. Let me know if you agree or disagree with what I have to say, and yeah, I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.